Welcome to the Unindoctrinated show with Jordan Cohen. My name is Jordan Cohen, and I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. And we're going to be talking about what the Unindoctrinated show is, how it's defined, and the journey that we're all going to be on going forward. And exploring truth and uncertainty, cultural objective truth. In a world filled with uncertainty and rapid change, many people find themselves searching for answers to life's most pressing questions. And this is what we're going to be diving into and diving, and really getting at the heart of what cultural objective truth and the reality that we all find ourselves in today with AI and jobs being lost and people's concerns about the future. And right now we got these things out there, LLMs, large language models, diffusion models, with the type to image type of abilities that we all now have, which before would have taken hundreds of hours and a lot more effort than now we can just do practically at the snap of a finger. And one of the things that we want to talk about and people are worried about is, but let me just say that there's a question out there about how powerful our intelligence is going to get. Is it going to be 1,000 times more powerful, 10,000 times more powerful just in the next few years? We talk about things like AI, AGI, ASI, meta systems, and the applications and how we all fit into this. And one of the things I like to do is I like to use different tools that we talk about in science and in the classroom. And we want to try to kind of transmutate those tools a little bit and apply them to culture and life as we are living today in the world of TikTok, in the world of podcasts, in the world of news and profit. And how do we sort through all this and make sense of it in a way that's logical to us in our lives? And so this show is really not only about you, but about me, and it's really about all of us. It's about us. And this is going to be a journey that we're going to go on together and learn together. And I don't proclaim to really know anything. I don't know anything. I'm just a curious mofo. And that's all. And I try to stay open-minded. Hopefully we can all keep our knees bent. And maybe we can learn something. And if there's things truths that we hold strongly, we like to use a scientific method. And just to clarify, the scientific method is not a belief system. It's a method of testing theories and hypotheses to come to some type of general conclusion that can be agreed upon when tested and analyzed around the globe by anybody who might be interested in doing that. And so that's what this is. But we do get into religion a little bit, faith. And one of the tools I like to use is to uncover cultural objective truth is using a fictional mechanism, I guess, is one way to put it. A fictional tool. And I've come up with a character and a whole world surrounding this character, and it's completely fictional. But I like to use this as a way to uncovering the bare truth. And what is the bare truth, you may ask? Well, it's the truth, the raw truth. The truth that's maybe uncomfortable. And a lot of times the uncomfortableness comes from because we believe something for so long, it's very hard to adjust. And like in dancing, you have to keep your knees bent so you can always move to that next spot without falling over. So we use tools like Bloom's taxonomy. And Bloom's taxonomy is just a way of measuring cognitive levels of insight into any topic or matter we might be interested in. And we can use the 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy to uncover and reveal and analyze and decide whether the things that we believe today or yesterday are still true today, and maybe we might have to make little adjustments, maybe just a small tweak to our views when we learn new information that's reliable, that can be tested through Bloom's taxonomy. And with taxonomy, we use another tool, Occam's razor, to reel it in, and to help mitigate where Bloom's may lead us off on a certain tangent. So in Bloom's taxonomy, there's 6 levels. The first one is to remember. I'll just run through them real quick, and we'll get more into this later on in the shows as they evolve. But remember is 1, 2, understand, 3, apply. Remember, understand, apply, 4, analyze. Number 4 is analyze. Number 5 is evaluate, and finally to create or synthesize, or what I like to use is transmutate some ideas that may be in one area of reality that we bring it over to a completely different topic and apply to that and see how that shakes out. So I like to use this kind of unique approach in addressing these issues and that revolve around the concept of cultural objective truth. Now, what does cultural objective truth mean? Well, that's a phrase that I coined to try to get at something that's kind of invisible, but that runs a thread through all humanity, all cultures, all ethnicities, all belief systems. And it doesn't interfere with any of them, but it's a common thread that runs between them all. And it's not just simply we want our kids to be healthy and happy and successful. You know, that's just common human traits. So it's a little bit more involved than that, and it's kind of a what's the word I want to use? It's kind of an opaque. It's not quite. How do you touch it? It's like a mist in the air. How do you corral it, and how do you define it? Kind of like defining a cloud that's constantly changing. So this is what we want to get into with this show, and hopefully we can learn something and understand today's reality as it's moving so fast. And people have concerns about whether they're going to keep their jobs and what jobs are going to be replaced. And it's not just blue-collar jobs, it's white-collar jobs. So, why hire a CEO when you can have an AI that does better for a lot cheaper? Why hire a CEO of, let's say, Pepsi, not to rag on Pepsi or Coke or any big company, and why would you pay the CEO $40 million or $80 million a year when you can just get an AI that costs maybe a fraction of that, and it'll make better decisions moving forward to keep the company solvent and profitable in a positive way? So, one of the questions in the science community recently was, talking about Moore's law and how fast computational power is it's expanding and exponentially increasing every 2 years or whatever. But that's not so much what's important to me now. And so we want to talk about these different things. Create a interface, cost to risk analysis, if you will, to apply to what our concerns are today, and learn how much we should be worried, how much we shouldn't be worried, and what are we going to do moving forward? Is humanity going to reach a place where nobody has to work anymore? Things like that. I created this character named Joel Dew. That's D-E-W, Joel Dew. And he's this character I created. He's a leader of a megachurch. And he created what's called the Doo Bible. And in that Bible, he takes the whole Old and New Testament, and there's a lot of additional material in there. And with in the case with Joel and his following, he has these doctrines of the spinning hourglass of variable infinities, which is something he created, and some of the things in there that he likes to talk about. Creates this whole world, and he's got these characters around him: Sheriff Mulroy, Betty Lou Jabari, Kim Tome, and others. MC, Lions of the Den. And it's interesting. And I'll be putting some visuals up on here too. You'll see there's a lot going on with Joel Doo. And when we kind of live a life or explore the reality of Joel Doo's world, we can then learn something about what's going on with us, and maybe reveal truths within ourselves that we're not sure of yet. I want to show you this sphere here. So let's take this sphere, and if you're listening, it's just a round ball, kind of squeaky ball that you might give a dog, but it's got these points all around it. Kind of like if you picture a basketball with like nails all around it, surrounding it. So it's like it's got these points coming out. And I like to use this as a metaphor for this sphere represents all of reality as we know it. Our lives, your lives, everyone's who ever lived, and everything in the future as well. So you see the surface of this ball the surface of this sphere has all these points coming out. And so each of these points can represent a different perspective. But more than that, if you look at the sphere, and the sphere is hollow inside. So let's say you were to penetrate the sphere and go inside the hollow part, and you can imagine the very center of the sphere. But let's say you just penetrate the sphere at a certain point and maybe go in a certain way and stop there. Imagine that that's you. That's your life, and that's your perspective. Now imagine that everyone else who's ever lived and is alive today penetrates the sphere in different spots, and that's their perspective. And so this is a way to kind of understand reality and understand everybody is relevant in that way, because everybody in the universe is in this sphere here. So we can use this kind of to mitigate our own biases and prejudices about how we feel about things, because we're just one point within the sphere, but there's an infinite number of points that we can talk about. I coined the phrase cultural objective truth to help frame and contextualize where humankind is going. What does the structure of the future look like? Is it 10,000 times more capable than today? 1,000 times more capable than today? Is it going to be 1,000 times more capable just as a year from now or 2 years from now? A lot of people say we're going to be reaching AGI, artificial general intelligence, which in a nutshell is basically a computer with an IQ of about 160 by 2029, just a few years away. And so what is that going to mean for all of us when the average IQ is only 100 across the planet with human beings? Obviously, AGI is reaching, and then what happens after that? So does it increase exponentially from that within a couple years, or according to Moore's law, if that was the case, if we're going to use kind of Moore's law as a context to view it? So who knows? So we're all kind of grappling with what's going to be going on in the future. These large language models, LLMs, now can pretty much write eloquently and fluidly and effortlessly, almost better than most of us can. For me, I've been a writer my entire life, so when I use these LLMs, I'm very specific about what I want it to do. So sometimes my instructions are actually longer than the LLM's response, like with GTP and other AI models that are out there. But I want to talk about Joel Doo. He comes from this fictional town, Linville, Indiana. He spent some time in the Orient, and he's kind of both a charismatic church leader and also a badass kind of mercenary undercover guy that's done jobs all over the world. So he has this kind of stoicism to him when he's in one sense, but then when he comes out and gives his sermons, he's very flamboyant, very engaging, big smiles, welcoming, warm, and very capable person. And he's got this team around him, and one of them is Betty Lou, who also comes from the Midwest and is an expert on weapons and knives. And one of the stories of Joel Doo I wanted to get into right now was the time when he was hunting, and when he was a kid, from, like I said, from Linville, very conservative, and he used to go to Uncle Trev's farm and mess around in the barn, and he learned a lot of stuff from Uncle Trev. And anyways, one time he was hunting, and this is older. And by the way, Joel Doo, when he was 14, very precocious kid. And so he created this Doo Bible that he just kind of out of sheer boredom, hanging out at Uncle Trev's farm, and in the barn was these kind of a lot of stuff was in there, and miscellaneous. And then he found this old Bible, recreated it into the Doo Bible. It's not about taking away, it's about adding more. And that's what it was with Joel Doo. All information cannot be denied. The belief structures and perceptions of reality and the way we express those convictions today serve only as a foothold. So the spinning hourglass of variable infinities has these different things that Joel Doo. And there's these, I think, 88 pairs of these magic stones, tanzanite and fire opals, that have these kind of mystical, magical qualities that he discovers in this cave when he's hunting. And this is when he already has the church going, the Doo Divinity Den, and he'd already met Sister Mary in the convent and helped them out of their financial problems through the use of the Doo Bible. But the Doo Bible really didn't get its luster, its essence, until he adds these other things, other elements to it. And one of them, his discovery when he's out hunting in, I think, West Virginia, or maybe Southern Ohio, out there by himself, and he discovers this light. The way he was actually hunting this big buck that was downstream from where he was, and he was upstream, and he was trying to readjust his rifle to nab this buck, and when he did the readjustment, it looked off to the side. He noticed this light, and he was curious, and this kind of reflective light coming out of the side of the hill up on the ridge. So he went up there and discovered this cave, and inside the cave he found the fire opals and the tanzanite stones, the 88 pairs, along with the doctrines of the variable infinities, the hourglass. And he also spent some time as a child in the Orient, and at some point after his I guess between when he was like 10 to 12. He went back there for 2 years, and he meets these other people that he had when he was there as a child, because his folks had moved there for a few years with their work. I think maybe it was missionary work or something like that. Not sure exactly. But anyway, so this is how this character evolved. When we talk about Joel Doo, we're really talking about a reflection of how does that relate to our lives. Well, we can talk about his exploits and his journey and his issues, and try to kind of place that on top of what's going on right now today, because people are understandably unsure where things are going. Okay, so Joel, he discovers 88 pairs of tanzanite and fire opals inside a cave in southern Ohio, and he adds this to the Doo Bible that he had already been creating. You know, it's interesting. You look at Thomas Jefferson and how he kind of like used all these different Bibles to create and splice together his version. Joel Doo doesn't do that. He leaves everything in, but he adds more to it. So you might find some advertisements for like stripper pole sales or dancer poles sales, or information on how to build a fire without any tools, or how to fix your do light plumbing in the house, or build a deck in your backyard, things like that. So there's like different things. There might be even like some ads in there for, nail polish remover, or air flow systems, or what's the best type of air conditioning depending on what type of climate you might live in. So there's all this secular material mixed in with the Doo Bible. And so it's really about how does that relate? How do we connect those dots? And my argument is, when you put any two things together, humans will automatically make a connection, right? So I have this wooden owl here, and for those that are listening, it's just a little trinket you might find at like, the Goodwill or something like that someone turned in. But it's a little owl. It's a cool little owl. And you can see the little guy. It's a cool little guy. He's got like some glass reflective stuff on him. And it's a cute little thing, a little pudgy little owl. But then I have this wood ebony from Africa. I think this was acquired in the 70s somewhere along the Ivory Coast, but I can't say for sure, but I know it's definitely from Africa. So if I put this wooden owl that came from Goodwill, now when I put these two next to each other, we can create a narrative with this owl and this African gentleman. Not sure what he's doing. It looks like he's maybe smoking something, or not really sure what's going on, but we can create a narrative with this. We add a sound that can symbolize whatever we deem it to be. So this is how reality and culture is created. It's just simply a matter of one person or a group of people, or one person convincing others and then gain a following, and then they posit out whatever information they want to posit out, and people will automatically make those connections, because that's the way the human brain is meant to work. We are meant to make connections so we can analyze and decide what our next move is going to be. And that's how that works. So when we talk about the unindoctrinated, what does that mean? Well, it's really about, how we're all kind of indoctrinated in a certain way just because of the fact of where we were born, where we live, and how our life narrative has gone. So to be unindoctrinated means how can we step aside from that and view things in the whole of all humanity, And that's where we try to thread the needle going towards what I call cultural objective truth. And finding that maybe it's not something that we can ever really touch on, but maybe we can get close to. And that's the hope of this show, is to really dive into what is cultural objective truth. What is the bare truth? What is the raw truth? It's one thing to like say something out loud, or how do we even have a conversation? You know? So when we're talking to other people, are we simply waiting for them to finish talking so we can then urge out whatever thought we're having in our mind? Or are we actually listening to what the other person is saying and then responding to what they're saying and then building the conversation that way? And so most of us, I think, are not the best conversationalists because we just want to spew out whatever our point of view is. And that's why there's so many problems today in the world, because communication has broken down. Let me jump off that for a second. I want to read a little story here. So there's another character in the Joel Doo Doo universe named Gatlin Ranger. He's the president of an MC called Lions of the Den. And there's Uncle Trev, you know. And there's Sister Mary, who eventually becomes Sister Sin when Joel transforms the convent into the Doo Doo Divinity Den. And the Doo Doo church doctrine. And so she becomes Sister Sin. She changes her name. Now you talk about Sister Sin as you're doing something wrong, but maybe sin means without. So this is an open thing, but definitely the convent becomes then solvent and is good and is in the it's doing well. And so in this little story here, and at some point Joel Doo Doo opens up this secret lab in the hills of West Virginia, and I'll put some images of that lab and what it looks like. And the person in charge of that lab is Alicia Parker. And he's doing things because of the 88 pairs of stones and the doctrines of the variable infinalities and hourglass. So it's really so this lab is called Hourglass Labs, and they have some other facilities out in the desert, out in the Arizona, Nevada desert, and other places. And I'll show you some images of that as we're talking today. And I really hope you're enjoying the Unindoctrinated show today, because this is the launching of the first episode. And for me, Jordan Cohen, I've been through some crazy stuff lately, and I really just trying to get past all that so I can get back to what this show is about, which was supposed to be done a month ago. But here I am today, and I'm so glad to be doing it today, finally. But let me just read this quick story about, and one of Joel Doo Doo's friends is this guy, Sheriff Mulroy. I think I mentioned that earlier. So in this case, he's with, who is he with? He's with Sheriff Mulroy, Gatlin Ranger, and Uncle Trev. And Uncle Trev trained Joel Doo in a lot of the mercenary and black ops types of skills. And Joel Doo Doo had done undercover work for the CIA starting at, I think, 16. So he's very young and did it for 6 years, all the way till 22, till he was 22. And really, and it wasn't until, I think about somewhere in there, I'm not sure exactly when, but he went on that hunt and found the stones and the doctrines and the spinning hourglass of variable infinalities. The spinning hourglass of variable infinalities. So you can kind of imagine what that is. It's almost like you could slow time down and rejigger it in a way. But anyway, so here's a story about these characters. And I'll just jump right into it. As the old nondescript light blue van rattled down the rural roads of West Virginia, Sheriff Mulroy couldn't help but feel a sense of curiosity tinged with excitement. He glanced over at Gatlin Ranger, who sat beside him, their eyes meeting briefly, before turning to the front where Joel Doo-Doo sat behind the wheel, his trademark grin firmly in place. "This is quite the adventure you've got us on, Joel," Sheriff Mulroy remarked, his voice filled with a mixture of anticipation and amusement. Joel chuckled, his hand steady on the wheel as he navigated the winding roads. "You know me, Sheriff, always looking for the next big thing." Uncle Trev, sitting in the back seat along Gatlin, nodded in agreement. "Aye, that ye are, lad. Always keeping us on our toes." As the van approached a nondescript dirt road hidden amidst the dense foliage, Joel slowed to a stop. "Here we are, gentlemen," a glint of excitement in his eye. Following Joel's lead, the group ventured down the narrow dirt path until they reached a concealed entrance nestled amongst the trees. With a press of a button, the door slid open, revealing a hidden underground lab bathed in dim red light. And I'll show you some images of the lab and inside the lab. And it's kind of cool. He has this whole thing he's doing with frogs and DNA and kind of and other things going on. And we'll get more into what's going on in the underground hourglass labs. Anyways, continuing on, Sheriff Mulroy's eyes widened in awe as he took in the sight before him. "Well, I'll be damned," he muttered under his breath. Gatlin let out a low whistle, his gaze sweeping over the high-tech equipment and bustling activity within the lab. "Impressive, Joel, very impressive indeed." Joel grinned proudly, gesturing for his friends to follow him deeper into the facility. "Wait till you meet Alicia," he said, his voice filled with anticipation. Inside the lab, they found Alicia Parker, the lead scientist on the project, engrossed in her work. Joel introduced her to Sheriff Mulroy and Gatlin, who greeted her with nods of respect. "Alicia, these are two of my closest friends and advisors," Joel explained, "Sheriff Mulroy and Gatlin Ranger." And Gatlin Ranger's a pretty tough dude. He's the president of the MC. Big dude. Tough. Friendly. The friendliest guy you ever want to meet. Anyways, Alicia smiled warmly, extending her hand in greeting. "Pleasure to meet you both. Welcome to the Frogman Project." Okay, so she's working on frogs. And so I guess that's the name of the project they had at the time. Apparently. Anyways, as they toured the lab, Alicia explained the intricacies of the research they were conducting, detailing their efforts to combine theoretical physics and biological engineering to create groundbreaking innovations. With each passing moment, Sheriff Mulroy, Gatlin, and Uncle Trev were filled with a sense of wonder and excitement, marveling at the possibilities that lay ahead. As the visit drew to a close, the group reluctantly made their way back to the van, their minds buzzing with thoughts of the future. "It's been quite the experience, Joel," Sheriff Mulroy remarked as they climbed back into the van. "I look forward to seeing where this project takes us." Joel nodded, determined glint in his eye. "Indeed, Sheriff, the future is looking brighter than ever." With that, they set off down the winding road, the hum of the van's engine mingling with the echoes of their conversation as they headed back to the truck stop, eager to continue their journey together. And that's just a little short story about one little incident with these characters. And I got some other ones there's some other ones where you have Betty Lou and Jabari St. John. So there's a Hourglass Labs biofacility that's related to the facility in West Virginia, the secret lab, and And this, unlike the secret lab in West Virginia, these other facilities that plainly see Hourglass Labs is open to the public. So it's a little different type of scenario, but there's still secret research going on there as well. And everything's connected, but this is much more open, it's much more public friendly, and it's really about the environment and how we kind of live in harmony, and how and different ways to help facilitate improvement in everybody's quality of life, while at the same time living in harmony with the environment and not affecting it in a negative manner. So in one case, there's a Hourglass Labs bio facility in Arizona, northwest of Tucson. And this place stands as a testament to the intersection of science, philanthropy, and hope. With its modern architecture and innovative design, the bio facility serves as a beacon of progress and possibility, thanks in part to the vision and funding of Joel Doo and the Doo Foundation. And so really the Hourglass Labs is really under the umbrella of the Doo Foundation and the Doo Divinity Den, and they have their headquarters in Chicago. But the Doo Foundation is more of a nonprofit. Well, here's the explanation. While the Hourglass Labs operates independently from the Doo Foundation, its annual contributions from the Doo Dynasty organization, based in Chicago, plays a crucial role in supporting its groundbreaking research and initiatives led by dedicated scientists and researchers. Hourglass Labs is focused on advancing humanity's understanding of biology, genetics, quantum science, and how to improve our lives in a positive way in the place and environment that we live in a positive way. So one of the Hourglass Labs' most notable projects is its biodome, which I'll show you guys, where visitors can witness science in action and engage with the researchers on site. So it's a very open place, open to the public. It's not associated with the church or faith or anything like that. It's very secular. And open to the public most days of the week and on weekends. This is northwest of Tucson in Arizona, this specific facility. Other facilities may have different hours or limited access to the public, but this one seems to be open quite a bit. It's very, very public friendly and very open arms. The biodome offers a glimpse into the cutting edge experience and discoveries taking place within its walls. So we believe in transparency and collaboration, and Alicia Parker is also there. She goes to these different facilities, and she also is one of the lead spokesperson, even though she is working in the secret lab in West Virginia that nobody knows about. So anyway, so we believe in transparency and collaboration, says Dr. Alicia Parker, lead scientist at Hourglass Labs. By inviting the public to participate in our research, we hope to inspire curiosity and foster a deeper understanding of the potential for scientific innovation to improve lives. Indeed, the biodome has become a popular destination for both locals and tourists who marvel at its sleek glass panels and modern design. Inside, the state-of-the-art equipment and advanced technologies are used to conduct experiments aimed at solving some of the world's most pressing challenges. We're just getting started, proclaims the motto of Hourglass Labs. And I'll put some of the Hourglass Labs has a big reach, and like I said, it's under the umbrella of the Doo Foundation. So we're just getting started is its motto, a testament to its ongoing commitment to pushing the boundaries of scientific discovery. With each breakthrough and innovation, the biofacility moves closer to realizing its mission of improving the quality of life for people around the globe. And that's what the mission is about, improving the quality of life for everyone around the globe. And just going back to this sphere here, because we're all inside this. And each of us has our own perspective, but if we can do something that can improve everybody, maybe that's what cultural objective truth is about. So as visitors leave the biodome, they are filled with a sense of awe and wonder, inspired by the possibility of a future where science and faith converge to create miracles. With Joel Dudu's unwavering support and the dedication of scientists at Hourglass Labs, that future seems brighter than ever before. Let me just go through a quick synopsis of Joel Dudu and his life, because this really is a remarkable man. So let me just synopsize the story of Joel Dudu right quick. And let me do it in this way. In the heart of Linville, Indiana, which is a fictional town. And by the way, you're listening to the Unindoctrinated show with Jordan Cohen. I'm Jordan Cohen, and I'm so happy to be with you here today. And we're talking about this fictional character, Joel Dudu, if you're just joining us, and how that connects with our lives today, and how it can reveal the bare truth, the cultural objective truth, the raw truth. And what does that mean, and how do we define it? And collectively, maybe we can come to a consensus of what that is eventually, or maybe we'll never come to consensus, but maybe we'll come somewhere close. Because maybe cultural objective truth isn't something you can actually touch, but you have to breathe, if you will. So, and experience, and it's a action. It's not stagnant. So cultural objective truth may require movement, and it only works when there is movement, as opposed to standing still. So let me just synopsize this character, Joel Dudu. In the heart of Linville, Indiana, amidst the rolling hills and whispering forests, stood the Dudu Divinity Den, a beacon of light and hope for the community. At its helm was the charismatic Joel Dudu. We've talked about him. Very precocious, incredible abilities and talent, highly intelligent, and very much a type A personality. So at its helm was Joel Dudu, a man of mystery and innovation whose life story was as enigmatic as the doctrines he preached. Joel Dudu was not your typical religious leader. With his unconventional approach to spirituality and his unorthodox teachings, he had garnered both fervent followers and skeptical critics. But beneath his charismatic facade lay a man driven by a singular vision to bring enlightenment and prosperity to all. And let me just stop there, because we have this character, Joel Dudu, and he created the Dudu Bible. And actually on this show, The Unindoctrinated, we will have copies of the Dudu Bible. And it's really a fascinating document. It's in the works right now. It's being put together. A lot of thought, a lot of energy, hundreds of hours, thousands maybe of hours have gone into creating this thing. So it's not something that's just a flimsy pamphlet, but it's a real thing. And it's as a guide to what Joel Dudu and his whole vision is about. So we're going to have those for you guys to order if you wish. And when those are done and ready to get, I suggest you get it. Get one. Help support the show, the Unindoctrinated show. And that'll help us keep going, because we want to talk about things that are important to you guys today. But anyways, to continue this story about Joel Doo, as I said, at its helm was Joel Doo, a man of mystery and innovation, whose life story was as enigmatic as the doctrines he preached. So Joel Doo was not your typical religious leader. With his unconventional approach to spirituality and his unorthodox teachings, he had garnered both fervent followers and skeptical critics. But beneath his charismatic facade lay a man driven by a singular vision to bring enlightenment and prosperity to all. And I think that's what we're all looking for in our lives now, especially where there's so many concerns out there about what's happening. Society's changing so fast. Robots are going to take over. What's going to happen? Are we all going to be dead in 5 years? Who knows? But anyways, so raised in the humble streets of Linville, Joel had always possessed a thirst for knowledge and a hunger for adventure. From a young age, he had been drawn to the mysteries of the universe, spending countless hours poring over ancient texts and exploring the secrets of the natural world. But it was his encounter with Sister Mary, and this happened, by the way, just a sidestep, this happened because he had to do community service, because he did this incredible magic trick when he was in high school. And it was this amazing thing. And anyways, he disrupted, so he had to do community service. So he got busted for that. But other than that, he was like a straight A student and martial arts expert and just like chess club champion and all these things. So so he was well liked by his teachers, staff, and the student body as well. So popular, but kind of stayed. Didn't need to play football. Didn't need to do these things that a lot of people do to get to become popular or have other students take notice. He didn't need that. He had this charismatic way about him that just like a magnet. Just people were drawn to his personality, his energy, his frequency. So when he had to do his community service, he did it at this convent, and that's where he meets Sister Mary. Anyways, getting back to this little story here. And I'll just repeat the last part. From a young age, he had been drawn to the mysteries of the universe, spending countless hours poring over ancient texts and exploring the secrets of the natural world. And when Joel was in high school, his library was already huge in his room. He had books on like literally hundreds of religions, science, quantum mechanics, different things. Just very, very curious and very proactive in his learning and curiosity. So, but it was his encounter with Sister Mary, a wise and compassionate nun from the nearby convent, that would change the course of Joel's life forever. Sister Mary saw something special in Joel, a spark of divinity that burned brightly within him. So, she and Joel became confidants in each other and actually mentored each other. And this helped guide Joel on a path of spiritual awakening and enlightenment. Together, Joel and Sister Mary embarked on a journey of discovery, delving into the depths of ancient wisdom and unlocking the secrets of the universe. Along the way, they encountered a colorful cast of characters, from eccentric scientists to intrepid explorers, each contributing to their ever-expanding knowledge and understanding. As Joel's fame spread far and wide, and through the use of the Doo Bible, which eventually gets even more magical through his hunting trip, as mentioned earlier. As Joel's fame spread far and wide, so did the influence of the Doo Divinity Den, which the convent eventually transformed into the Doo Divinity Den. With its innovative approach to faith and its emphasis on critical thinking, and levels of critical thinking, like we talked about at the beginning, Bloom's taxonomy, levels of critical thinking, levels of cognitive awareness, and critical thinking techniques. Innovative approach to faith and its emphasis on critical thinking and self-discovery. The Den attracted followers from all walks of life, united in their quest for truth and enlightenment. And I think that's something we can all get behind. All of us want more truth, more enlightenment, or what the truth, the bare truth, the objective truth, but not only the objective truth, but the cultural objective truth, and what that is, and how do we walk astride what that is, not walk behind it, but walk alongside it, and in harmony. But Joel's ambitions instead extended far beyond the borders of Linville. With the help of his, with the help of his loyal companions, including Sheriff Mulroy, Gatlin Ranger, and Uncle Trev, he embarked on a series of daring adventures that would take him to the far corners of the globe. And that's where and the Doo-Doo Force is something that comes out of that with Betty Lou, Kim Tome, and Jabari St. John. And so we'll get into those characters at some point. And there's some interesting adventures with Joel and Betty Lou, and how he meets Jabari St. John for the first time, and Kim Tome, and how Jabari and Kim Tome come into the fold, and Betty Lou, and they become the Doo-Doo Force along with Joel, and they do missions around the world for different governments, kind of black ops type of missions. So very capable, just bad mofos, just very capable and seasoned. So, from the sun-soaked deserts of Arizona to the rugged mountains of West Virginia, Joel and his companions sought out hidden truths and ancient mysteries, uncovering secrets that had been buried for centuries. Along the way, they faced countless challenges and adversaries, but their faith and determination never wavered. And as the years passed, Joel's legend grew, his name spoken in hushed tones, so to speak, by those who sought enlightenment and salvation. But for Joel, the true measure of success lay not in fame or fortune, but in the impact he had on the lives of others. And that kind of parallels what this show, The Unindoctrinated, is about, because it's about keeping our knees bent. It's about testing the truths that we think that maybe that have been hardened throughout our lives, that when we find out new information that maybe not all of that is correct, sometimes it's very difficult to just break out of that into something you've been very comfortable with your whole life. So finding out new information is very scary to some people, and it creates apprehension, nervousness, and especially now where the future seems to be so uncertain and moving so rapidly towards things that maybe we don't understand, it's best to embrace what is and what's out there and where things are going. So at least our knees will be bent and will be poised to make the right adjustments and decisions as time goes on in the future, when things get really crazy and things move along. At least we'll know what these elements are. A lot of us out there, we don't. And it's not anybody's fault. It's because things are moving so fast. It's just so hard to keep up. And most of us, we have our daily lives and things. We don't have time to think about all these things. So hopefully this show helps give people a little bit of insight and knowledge into how to brace and embrace. And it's not about saying, oh, I love it, I want to be a part of it. It's about being aware of it, so at least we know what direction to move when the time comes, So that's what really that's about. And let me just talk about, we talked about critical thinking and the levels of critical thinking, and how we use Occam's razor, Bloom's taxonomy. What is cultural objective truth? Where, when, how does it express itself? Is Moore's law still valid in 2023? Does that even matter? Is it even worth a conversation? So we'll talk about all that. Will super intelligent AI become uncontrollable? What are the ethical considerations? So quantum philosophies, quantum Bible, if you will. What does that mean? What are these truths that we want to talk about? So let me talk about some things that maybe people have concerns about. And just to wrap this show up, I just want to talk about this episode, the Unindoctrinated show with Jordan Cohen. We've been talking about Joel Doo and using this fictional character as a foil to reflect on our own lives and come to how we can understand what is cultural objective truth, where are our lives going. And there's some jobs that I was looking up that they say will be lost by 2030. So tech jobs, coders, computer programmers, software engineers, data analysis, those jobs will be gone apparently. Number 2, media jobs, advertising, content creation, technical writing, journalism. Number 3, legal industry jobs, paralegals, legal assistants. Those jobs will be gone because you'll have an AI that'll be able to do a better job at that. Number 4, market research analysts. Number 5, teachers. They say teachers, well, I don't know if those jobs will be gone, but yeah, teachers, because AI will be able to teach and how we learn and how we approach education and learning and comprehension in the future is going to wildly change. So teachers is kind of a general thing, but according to Business Insider, they say this, teachers. Number 6, finance jobs, financial analysts, personal financial advisors. Those jobs will be gone by 2030. Also, number 7, traders, trading and investment banking. Again, AI will be able to do that better. Why talk to a person when you can talk to someone that's got the knowledge of 1 million people, right? Number 8, graphic designers. No graphic designer jobs available. So how we think about what our threads of thought and logic in the future is going to change. And people are kind of don't know what that is, and that's what concerns them. They're unsure. It's untested waters. Number 9, accountants. Again, no need for accountants when you have an AI that can do your accounting better than any one person. And number 10, customer service agents. So customer service jobs apparently be gone by 2030. They say AGI, artificial general intelligence, i.e., an IQ, a computer with an IQ of 160. I don't know if I used that phrase right, but anyways. So some say quantum physics is the science that explains everything, because we all know what Google is and these different search engines. And I just want to say, are Google searches on people's online behavior a closest or a closer indicator of the truth as opposed to taking a poll or survey? So that's interesting. So if you just look at, and that's why AI is so powerful, because it can read us better than if we were just to simply answer poll questions. So anyways, thank you so much for listening and watching the Unindoctrinated show. My name is Jordan Cohen, the Unindoctrinated show with Jordan Cohen. And this is our first voyage into this realm. And we hope you'll stick with us for the next journey. And as we evolve this show and define it in a way that's going to be good for you guys and myself as I'm learning as well. And listen, I'm not any type of genius or anything. I'm just a guy. I just look at things from a intellectually curious perspective. A guy that has a degree in fine art and is a writer and a visual artist and a content creator. And I have been a writer for 40 years now. And so I felt like doing this show would be a way of getting something that would be benefit to you guys and also to myself, because I'm learning as well. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.